(180 Fahrenheit, 84 degrees Celsius). Been standing here for an hour trying to figure out what the beeping was coming from. Fault switch. The over limits are a little over anxious. It's cold outside and it should have beeped because it just shut off. Ah, there it is. That's the problem. I got this set too high. I'm gonna lower that. It's so hard to see. They didn't put a mark on this one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I set it to 165, which is, for you Celsius folks, 76 Celsius. So what's been happening here since 1 o'clock in the morning? I got a phone call. The boiler was running all 4 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of the over limit switches, these are redundant, they both do the same thing. One of the over limit switches popped, opened, cut the power, and the computer said, that's not good, that's a fault. So, until the temperature goes down, and zone 2 is calling for heat. Thermostat's turned up, mercury touches the 2 wires together, circulation pump runs. So until this gets down below whatever temperature, we're down at 160 now, which is 72 Celsius. Until that temperature drops and the switch closes and runs power back to here, that little beeper's going to beep. And there's 4 different codes you could have here. This is code 1. Flashing once, which means the over limit right there has opened until it snaps shut. Tick. Come on. Yeah, we're dropping temp. Until that snapshot closes. Just heard it go tick. I don't know if you heard it. So now the elements can go back on. System is back to normal. And I lowered the temperature of the over limit switch. Now the computer will wait a few seconds and that's going to send power to a random element. It lights up any of the 4 elements randomly because our temperature is dropping 120, 50 Celsius. Nope. Element number 1. Click. Working well. When I spoke to the fellow, when my circuit board was allegedly bad, it was the breaker, which I'm going to save right there. When I spoke to the fellow, he said, well, we sent you the circuit board, we send you all new wires because these terminals can melt. And I said, these terminals are perfect. As a matter of fact, when I pull them off, I hold the relay with my 2 fingers and I wiggle this in the same direction of the blade. That way, or this one goes that way. So as not to break these relays because they're soldered on. You break one, you're cooked. Same thing with the glow plugs on the Weezer. The fellow in Long Island that bought the Weezer hasn't been able to start it. He's been spraying quick start and different PMDs, and I said, well, he told me that the optical sensor was getting an error code. I said, I bet you bring it, if you bring it inside, it'll start. It's probably flooded. And you just got to crank it till it starts. Blah, 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 blah. So I said, even though the glow plugs are new, and the truck was from Arizona, these contacts eventually get corroded. The exact same blade and spade contacts. Take these off, polish up. There's a little plastic cover on the GM connectors, like the horn wire connector, and you put a little tiny screwdriver in just like this, and there's a barb, and you put it in from the glow plug side, and you push the barb down. You're able to pull this out of the plastic connector, polish this up with a little wire brush, and then put them back on. There's 8 of them, and you can only get to 7 on the 6.5 because the turbo blocks 1, and you cannot get to it. So if you got 7 all polished up, not necessarily the problem, but he's thinking maybe the timing chain jumped a tooth or the injection pump broke. If there's water in the fuel, it could do that, but he's also been driving it in freezing cold weather, so if it was going to happen, it would have happened before the coldest day. 2 2 elements. So I feel bad. He's been driving the thing since he bought it on September 21st. October, November, December, almost 3 months. Probably put on 3,000-4,000 miles, and all of a sudden on the coldest day it won't start. It says nothing, not a sputter, not a cough, nothing. Hear it? Still calling for heat in zone 2. I put lots of insulation in the back of that apartment. Tons in the attic and in the walls. Tons well fluffed up. No airspace. Double studded walls. Let's say this is your original stud wall. Here's your brick on the outside. Here's your plaster and lath on the inside. I put another wall slightly inside that so that the insulation overlaps. I don't just have insulation in the space. Let's see here. I don't just have insulation here. I put a new wall on the inside and I staggered it so the insulation's in 2 layers overlapping. No air leakage. Windows leak a bit of air, but I'm pretty fussy with my insulation. So I lowered the temperature. I just clicked off at 155, which would be nicer to have more hot heat, or more heat hot. The water to be hotter, but I guess I'll just get a couple of these new snap switches. I bet you they're just $10. They even have a part number S Sam 47 snap switches. All right, I think I figured this out. Hopefully. My buddy in Brooklyn that has the sports sedan Gojo 283, got a little leak there, tiny leak, was telling me that he's got air in his hot water heating system in his house, and I'm saying, well, they got these things called spiral vents, and what that does is it has a mesh screen inside that's supposed to rotate and remove the air from the water as the water passes through it, which it has no choice to do. But can you feel it spin? Does it get clogged? Does it work? I have no idea, because he bleeds his system occasionally to get the air out. And he should have those little steam water separators to get the air out. And let's see, take a little walk in the basement. I hear the elements energizing. Relay clicks on, energizes the elements. Take a walk here. Oh no, I got lots of junk. I got Corvair parts. Corvair Spider wiring harness, 12-plate low cooler. Corvair Turbo exhaust pipe. One almost brand new Corvair 140 muffler. I had a second one, but I lent it to a guy 30 years ago. He never gave it back. Nice, huh? Went to see his father, still living in the same house 30 years later. His father was supposed to call or email his son in England, where he's living now, working for a Ford racing team, and I never heard back. That was probably a year ago. I got a variety of these little vents, come in all shapes and sizes. Stamped brass, copper, brass, cast brass, Watts. Made O Mist, Chicago, Illinois, automatic air eliminator. Made O Mist. Watts. There they are. That one's leaking. As is that one. Drip. Diesels. I got so much junk here. It's all the stuff from my shop that I closed 20 years ago. And just sitting there rotting away. Paste car wax. Permaseal, bought that at a car show. Lazy Man's wax. Container's just falling apart. Multimeter, junk, dollar store. Pictures of my brother's kids. They're growing up now. Rubbing compound, Citroën. Composé à frotter, nettoyant puissant, heavy duty cleaner, rubbing compound. Bet you I've had that for 25, 30 years. Turtle Wax Inc., Chicago, Illinois, 1979. Fabriqué au Canada. paste car wax. Pat à polir. White polishing. Made in Canada. Simonized Canada Inc. Cleveland, Ohio. $2.19. Wires. Empty. Evaporated. Extend rust treatment. Duro. Loctite Corporation. Protect from freezing. Well, never froze. Astro Tire Beauty. This is all stuff from a million years ago. Oh, my hot glue gun. That's where it went. Anti-rust. I got so much crap. When I die, boy. All to the curb. Junk luggers. Pick this stuff up. Need some mercury? Got some right there. Honeywell. Distributors of poisoning mercury. Alrighty. Check out my boiler. How's my battery doing? 100% on my lawnmower battery. I got it on a timer so it turns off. Too bad it didn't turn off. It's supposed to turn off. Like that. Huh. And sometimes I leave this thing running overnight. No sense in having the battery charger humming away overnight, so I put it on a timer. I set it to turn off in an hour. 12.4 volts, 70% charge, 2 amps. Crank her up. Yeah, piles of junk. That's not junk, it's a pile of big roll of solid copper wire. You know what that's worth? Big buckaroonies. Oh, it's heavy, can't even lift it up. It's a real deal. How's our boiler doing? 3 elements. Alright, this is boring. I'm going to save those. Anytime you want to come and visit, you can look at them in person. Or just watch it on video. Yeah, I've got the limit set a bit lower. Maybe we're safer that way. How's our water temperature? See you in a bit. Kill some rats.